All good things must come to an end, and My Hero is no different. Welcome to the Triple Take. I'm Manny,
I'm Frank.
I'm still Joseph.
and a tear was shed, hearts were throbbed, and a man rose from the dead. We're talking about My Hero, the series in its entirety, and I will be giving you my non-spoiler rating for the entire anime. I give it an 8.5. Now, I have
Wait, that's
two
counting the
separate
movies?
ratings. This is counting the movies, because not all of them were good. So, this is two ratings. This is two ratings, because I think I have to put it in two ratings, because this is how I think of my Marvel and DC stuff. So it's an 8.5 as the anime as a whole. As a superhero story, to me, it's a 10 out of 10. That's truly from the superhero guy telling you this is a 10 out of 10. And I think, and I would believe, that Marvel and DC creators would say the same, that this is a 10 out of 10 superhero story. There are highs, there are highs, but there are lows in this. There are lows in this. And I have to judge the anime as a entirety, even though the last season, in my opinion, is one of the greatest seasons of anime I've ever watched. I will leave my recency bias at the door. 8.5 out of 10.
As a semi-recent binger
As always.
of 7 seasons and having to wait a whole year for the 8th, I give My Hero Academia a solid 8 out of 10. And in terms of the quality as a whole, the love that its fan base has, I kind of wish I did watch it as it was coming out. Because I can't really say that about a lot of things. But, if you got it, you got it. And at least as an anime, especially as like a modern example of anime, because I'm still used to the older stuff, it really has its own pedestal. I'll give it that. Yeah, I love seasons 1 through 7. 8 wasn't bad, wasn't great. It was good. It was solid. That's what I give it. That's kind of why I kind of give it.
He has no heart. He has no heart.
I do have a heart.
He has no heart. No, he has no heart. Just no.
That's fine.
Gambareo.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Gambareo.
It just sound like you said Gumbo
yo. So for me, I give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I think I agree with Manny in terms of the separating it as an anime and a superhero. 10 out of 10 superhero. Like, there's no better rise of a superhero you could possibly do as a kid. Man went from nothing to something, but not always, but mostly stayed the same. Mostly kept the core of his being the same. Never, power didn't get to his head. True hero from start to finish, right? Obviously, he went through the regular trials and tribulations of what being a hero is, but the one thing I like about him as a character, I'm talking about Deku, man never complained once. Man was the opposite. Man was grateful the whole time. Even in the bad parts, man never complained a single time. What better hero can you ask for, right? But the reason why I don't give it a higher score in terms of the anime, I think when it comes to setting, I love setting when it comes to like animes. I like One Piece, I like Naruto, I like My Hero, right? The setting of My Hero out of all the new gen anime is honestly the best. But they did not utilize the setting to its fullest potential at all. Like, there were so many marks they missed. Just talking about people from the school. Granted, that would be a lot of work to encapsulate all those quirks and all those people. But I just feel like in certain parts of the story, when it comes to like the way the setting played part in it, you could tell they definitely like gave you the nerfed version. At some points, it didn't even seem focused. It just felt like, hey, I don't want to include everybody, so we're just gonna include these people. Regardless, great story, great character building throughout multiple people. Honestly, one of my pet peeves when it comes to anime, you set up characters and they just fall away. From that moment they got their moment, they fall away. But in this anime, even though some fell away slightly, most of them came back, like, and had other moments, or like they played a part in later parts. Not just had one moment and poof, gone. Rock Lee. One thing I like about this anime, this is the one time that I actually agree with Manny about one specific character being one of the best in the show. And it took me the whole series. We never agreed on this before, like somebody being top 5. But there's just certain people in the show that, like, man, great character development. I gotta say, man, you can't do it much better. Can't do it much better. My Hero, end of an era. Yeah, I would say it's probably the best new gen anime in terms of like longevity and storytelling and setting.
And rewatchability.
I
rewatchability.
I will eventually, like, later down, I will rewatch this anime. So
Yeah, for sure.
rewatchability is
I feel about doing
easily
that now. So, to be honest,
all I gotta say. But
a long time.
it is time. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your warning. It's about to get hot and heavy. It's about why are you looking at me like that?
Why you say that?
It's about to get hot and heavy. I'll say it again.
Oh my god.
It's gonna get hot and heavy.
It's
and
gonna
hefty.
get hot. And it's gonna get nasty in the spoilers. And those spoilers will begin. In 3, 2, 1. Bakugo is better than Sasuke, better than Zoro, better than every single one of your freaking subordinate candidates. I don't care. He's better than Vegeta. He's better than every single one of them.
I ain't gonna lie, better than Vegeta's crazy. I don't think so. I don't think he's better than Vegeta.
He's better.
think he's
He's
better than
my
Vegeta.
king.
But I do think he's better than Sasuke and Zoro, though, in terms of character development.
We'll see where One Piece ends. Maybe it ends and Zoro's like the GOAT. But, you know.
I doubt it.
But either way, I just wanted to say this. My thing is, from season 1 to season 8, my main like little thing that I love about this anime is the shift from this is a kid's show, so this gets real.
Yeah, like,
that is
yeah.
the biggest thing that happens. And you notice there's something crazy that happens, which I notice now that I didn't notice before. The animation gets different. And it starts and it grows with the adultness of how real this is getting.
It gets rougher, gets sharper.
That's one of the biggest things I love about this anime. Deku's character development, Bakugo's character development. The fact that, at least for the main cast, everybody has their moment. And everybody shines in their moment. I understand the fact that, like, you know, they didn't flesh out where's the second years, where's the other third years. It's just Mirio, Amajiki, and Nejire, and that's it. Like, even in graduation, they were the only 3 that graduated. It was like, what happened to everybody else? They suck.
They died off screen.
I understand that, but I don't know, man. This whole journey to me, and as the superhero fan, you know, maybe that bias leads me into it a little bit more. The journey of superheroes, the journey of coming together, and the journey of, and every superhero should take notes from this. It's not only about the main guy. It's not only about Superman. It's not only about Batman. It's not only about Spider-Man. But it's about the people that help the superhero along the way in the journey. I love that in this, especially the end. You, Joseph. Gambareo!
What was that
Like, one of the-
specifically at? Frank, shut up.
Because he said you said season 8 was all right. That's why he said.
Okay.
that.
I haven't. Did I specifically say why?
Well, you can say why after Frank speaks.
That's
Speaking
fine.
about like other characters, right? Like I think one of the goats of this show, honestly, is Ochako. I rarely say that such an underlying character is goated. When she was a part of the show, she was a part of the show, bro. Like she honestly, I don't care what anybody tells me. One of the best fights is Ochako versus Toga. I would even argue is better than Stars and Stripes versus Shigaraki, just because of the setup all the way to that. It was equivalent to, and obviously they did this on purpose. It was equivalent to Deku versus Shigaraki. Like the side by side of villain and person and like hero would be Deku Shigaraki, Ochako Toga, and Todoroki and Dabi. Like that, all 3 of those was just going up like together, like all emotional, all trying to understand themselves and each other to really understand what a hero and what a villain even is. Like society tells us this is a villain, right? But they broke open that and said, "Hey, I'm a person. Y'all were the ones that made me like this to begin with." So then it makes you think like under different circumstances, and then like that's what the characters think at the same time. Under different circumstances, would we even be fighting? If someone reached a hand out to you and was a hero to you before and didn't villainize you, would you have been a villain? And that's the type of gray area that My Hero gets to at the end, because in the beginning, you see this fanboy perspective of Deku's like, hey, this is the best hero. I like this hero. He beats the bad guys. I want to be like him. And not like Deku was just like, Deku didn't even think about the villains. Most people didn't even think about the villains, just thought about the heroes. But once they started introducing those gray areas and how some of the good guys weren't so good and when some of the bad guys were more...
The motives seemed a little bit like you couldn't tell
skewed.
whether or not it was...
Motives were skewed. Yeah, like a good example was Spinner. Like the reason why he was like that was because they were he was a victim of racism, of quirkism, whatever you call it, because he was a heteromorph.
I like quirkism. I like that.
Quirkism?
I'll take us.
He was a victim of quirkism, bro. Because it's just like, yeah, but for real. And honestly, like, that's one of the things about My Hero that I like, and that's what I think about when I'm talking about world building and setting. Like, even though they missed marks on certain places, I feel like when it came to like those specific things, like that makes sense. They would be discriminated against because they look different. Like that makes sense. Like how there would be an upper echelon of what powers are deemed great versus what are deemed not so great. And like you even see that with Deku, he's quirkless. He gets made fun of by Bakugo, who inherently isn't even a bad person. And we even get a piece of like, oh hey, like he has very villain tendencies to the point where they try to even recruit him. He was like, screw you, bro, I'm a hero. But like it keeps blurring the lines as you go. That's the part that makes, or like the whole thing with Todoroki's and his parents. Like you got Endeavor, he's like the number 2 hero,
the worst father ever.
but he's the worst father. Like that's so realistic. Like that's actually very realistic on how like that makes, because he's trying to follow and be like the greatest man and surpass him, but he doesn't know that he can't, and that makes him go crazy. He's trying to create one. If I can't do it, I'm gonna make somebody that can. Like that's a whole mentality, that whole dynamic of every single person, like getting a different part of society and like being in the way they're affected by it was like the best part of this whole anime, because it's able to bring in all those themes and make them cohesive and blend together very well, and even call back to them later, which makes me think that, and which is why Endeavor is one of my favorite characters in the show. Because you see him how he was before and the way he tries to redeem himself as the GOAT. Like he's still a piece of dookie.
He's a piece of trash. He's a
yeah,
piece of
and
trash.
like you even see so dynamic with his family. Some were just like, let's forgive him. But there's still one guy at the end is just like, nah, I still can't forgive you. And that's real.
What's done has been done. I'm not.
And that's real,
I'm not
brother.
gonna forgive you for it.
Like it's not just gonna be smell the flowers. Okay, cool, everything's fine. Like nah, bro. Like I know we almost died together, but I still can't forgive you, bro. And that's realistic. That's a human reaction. And I think that's what. Again, I can't harp on it. Like the way they were able to make this anime with all the superpowered beings in society and all this crazy stuff, they were still able to make it human. And I think that's why you think it's a 10 out of 10 superhero story. Because when you make a superheroes feel human and and mix that dynamic well, that's when you get a great superhero story. Like we even think about The Boys, right? And it's a little bit out there, like a little bit too out there. It's a lot more realistic than out there, right?
And you harp in on the fact that like these separate stories, but it happened in the beginning. A story of vengeance, Ida. That story in and of itself is just literally what a superhero goes through. Literally, it's his family. He loses
second season, right?
That's the second season.
Yeah.
This man literally, you find out Stain's motivation, but then you kind of agree with Stain's motivation, but at the same time, you understand why Ida's upset. And it's, blurring the lines between reality and heroism is a perfect blend to create a story. But I want to hear Joseph. I've been waiting for this. So, Joseph, start.
Yes, to start off a number
so I can shoot your argument down. Go ahead.
I'm gonna build it up real quick.
And I'm gonna shoot yours down.
The greatest strength to this anime or manga or whatever you want to look at it as is development. Aside from giving humanity to the individuality of the characters, to just the overall world that is built. And this world is built in a way where it's connected. First few episodes lays out the concept of quirks and just the foundational rules of this world. And the entire show sticks to that. It sticks to its own rules. If any rule needed to be amended, it was done in a way that was justifiable. Because at the end of the day, whether you're binging it or watching the anime through the course of the years that it came out, you can't deny that it really made its world on its own. Because it's not just about the hero, it's not just about the villain. It's about the people, the civilians, the principles, the problems that occur. And all of that is held together. And it's great. Because whatever happens affects someone else. And every effect, like every cause has its effect. And it's justifiable. Everything that's done in that show, in the story, has its rippling effect. Such is the case of heroes being cocky and the concept of Stain and his motivations. At the end of the day, it wasn't just heroes and villains and people, it was just life. And that's the greatest thing that this anime brings. It's just life. Where the world, what would happen if people ended up having powers? Problems would happen. And the show exemplifies that. Well, there was a period of chaos as people tried to figure out what was what. And then what happens after people figure stuff out? Life adapts. You have police, and then you have professional heroes. Makes sense. As the show developed, all the side characters have their piece. Every little problem that was presented had its piece. Such as the whole concept of heteromorphs. Because I'm not gonna lie. Imagine me being a woman pregnant. I give birth to a Windex bottle. That is ludicrous. I don't even know how I would respond to my own child.
What about the washing machine?
What about the comic book? What about the comic book?
The washing machine was crazy, in my opinion. I'm like, I don't know how you would give birth to a washing machine.
I'm still on the Windex bottle.
Imagine Gigantomachia.
How do you eat?
Just think about this. The comic book guy, he was screaming out of the where. The letters were flying out.
But
nah, bro.
As animes go,
in that show.
You had the perfect blend of action because that was animated beautifully for 99% of the anime. If anything, 100%. You have drama. You have humor because whether it's the jokes that landed or just the way characters were presented, it was there. At the end of the day, you could watch a few handful of episodes, and at the end of the day, you could say you had a good time. And my problem with season 8.
Here we go.
The development.
I'm ready. Frank, we got it. We're ready. Come on.
The best part of season 8 was All for One versus Armored All Might and All for One versus Bakugo. Bakugo made season 8 season 8. What the f did Deku do?
What do you mean?
What fight was had? Because there wasn't a fight, there was an argument. Sure, there must have been a fight off screen, but we didn't see that. Because season 7 ended where Deku showed up. That was it. Boom, next season. Started off with Armored All Might and All for One. Cool, trying to show up. And then he's having this little, let me hold Shigaraki in place. What fight was that? What did they do? Bakugo fought. Everyone but Deku fought. Deku fought with his own body. And Deku couldn't stand on his own. Bakugo did. That's
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because I had to pull it up.
That's fine. From what I remember.
So him getting inside of Shigaraki, losing his arms, stopping him from freaking what made him the villain that he is, the fighting. Okay, remember when literally they destroyed a whole mountain?
I'm okay with that. But when he destroyed the mountain, they actually threw hands.
Well, I know what you mean, but you gotta think about it like this. The reason
I gotta think about it the way I feel.
That's fine. But I'm saying you got to think about it like this. Like the reason why he was throwing hands before he was holding them there in place. But the reason he was holding them there in place is because he couldn't stop him from killing other people and fight him at the same time.
Write a better story.
There was no better story.
No,
bro,
there's
this man
no
won't be
better
one.
story.
This man was clapping him.
Bro, did you not understand All Might when he said this class, their literal goal was to win decisively with no casualties? That was their goal.
You got to think about it like this. Like the reason why.
Tell that to Stain, who's now an actual stain on a wall. That's a casualty.
Was that not a part of his story?
Whose story?
Stain's story.
Yeah,
what was his main thing? What was his motive?
To go out by All Might. I'm gonna say that now.
All right, here we go, bro. What was his motive? Answer the question.
To have heroes be actual heroes.
And at the end of his life, he was a hero.
Yeah,
he saved his guy.
That's fine. I was complaining about Deku and Shigaraki. That fight
you brought up Stain, so I had to shoot that one down. No, it wasn't.
L, bro. Bro,
again, it's how I feel. You ain't gonna change my mind.
But Shigaraki was trying to murk everybody, and he was trying to save him. That's the difference.
Okay, I get that.
And I guarantee you this: Deku would not have saved All Might if it wasn't for Deku to begin with.
That's fine. I'm just saying about
their
fight.
On a second.
There wasn't a fight. There was an argument.
You're the type of man. You're the type of man that's always harping about, hey, bro, the tactics and the mind games and all this. This man was holding somebody, right, that was clapping 6 people.
Their
no
cheeks
quirks
were on the floor.
No quirks. Wait. And this man pulled up while he had quirks, obliterated him, and the only reason he couldn't continue was because he had to be aware of other people. And the reason why he was holding Shigaraki instead of saving All Might, because if he let go of Shigaraki, he was going to murk everybody in the island. So he couldn't do both. Would you be able to decide to either let a bunch of people die or save the one person that you've admired your whole life?
All I'm saying is I wish there was a bit more of a fight.
How can you fight?
I don't care. I don't care.
But
if there was literally 2 more episodes of them just throwing hands or something, I would have been fine. have whatever
Okay.
argument you had. Let's say they're showing the mental battle and they're not paying attention, but their bodies are still going at it.
They were
I
like,
just wanted
you're
physical-
gonna go save him, and he's literally crying. That was one of the best animated parts when you see his eyes water.
Yeah, they're
of the
crying,
best
but they could still be
animations.
fighting. They were arguing for the most
Bro,
part.
as soon as Bakugo saved All Might, they literally immediately started throwing hands. Immediately.
Yeah, for 2 frames, and then you just got the mental battle.
What do you mean for 2 frames? It was 2 episodes.
Most of that was in their brain.
He didn't watch it.
No,
He
this man
didn't
wasn't
watch
paying
it.
attention. This
He
man was not
didn't
even-
pay attention.
He talking about me falling asleep in Predator Badlands. This man don't remember something he just watched.
It's over.
Nah, bro.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the same thing with Alice in Borderland, and Frank wasn't here for that. You just don't like endings.
Honestly, by the way, I don't think the ending could have been better. I don't
You
think the
just
ending
don't like endings.
No, the
I don't think
ending
the
could have
ending
been
could've been
better.
better.
A little bit better. If they
How?
actually had an episode showing them as adults, not little frames. I wanted to see how their lives were.
There's gonna be
Yeah.
a movie.
There is.
And they're coming out with a movie and an OVA.
You act like as if I pay attention to anime news like that.
So
You wanna
season
get
8 was
spoiled all
great.
the time.
Season 8 was great. If you've reached this point, Joseph just said season 8 was great. Thank you.
Hang
I
on a
never
second.
said
Hang on a
that.
second. Hang on a second.
He said season 8 was great.
It was the
Hang
weakest
on a
link of
second.
the whole
I
show.
want to talk about. if
Weakest
anything, I wanna-
link? Are you insane?
Yes,
great.
I
If
am.
there's anything I want to say, is definitely about the ending. I think this is the most important part of this show. It ended perfectly. There is no other anime that I've seen in a couple years that's ended this well. Because not only did he sacrifice everything he loved, talking about his quirk and like being a hero, to save everyone and not complaining about it once, true hero. Anyway, he got brought back up by everybody he saved at the end. Perfect. And everybody's situation resolved normally. Like Dobby, it went with his character. Not only did he go so far to the point because he was being manipulated because of his anger and his loneliness by All For One. By the way, that dude is wild. I ain't gonna lie, one of the greatest villains ever written, like in an anime. That man is that you cannot say that man is not. That man is the epitome of evil, bro. Like,
That man, that man owns the phrase, I was born this way. 100%. That
Bro,
man
bro.
got issues.
Nah, the craziest thing that I did not see coming, super spoiler by the way, was when
We're in that
if you-
section.
If you made it,
If you
I know,
hear-
but this is one of the things in this show I did not see coming at all. Was when he said that he was the one that gave Shigaraki decay. I was like, bro, this man got it. It's great. This man is the reason he murdered his whole family.
Yeah, character
That's
development.
insane, bro. And it was to the point that it crushed his whole spirit that he died because he crushed his spirit so much. This man All For One died like 3 times and said, I'm still here. All might be saying I'm here, boy, I've been here. You talk about the man that one dude pissed him off so bad. He killed his entire lineage just because he didn't like him. What?
Friends and friends.
And friends, anybody that was associated with this man, he killed.
No, honestly, All For One is, and will go down as a top tier anime villain.
And he got defeated the best way possible by friends, by trust,
By
team.
by the strength of weakness.
Exactly.
Brother. Joseph,
Bro,
you
wait, you know what's crazy?
You
I
said
only
you were the
complained.
first one. You were the first one to grab Midoriya's hand and say run.
Oh, that's crazy.
All right. All right.
Yeah, that's great. And if you think about it, it makes even more sense about what One For All is. It's a compiling quirk of like multiple people's like beliefs and wishes coming together to defeat one really strong idea, the dangerous idea. And even at the end, One For All wasn't enough. So they still needed a compilation of a bunch of weak people with strong wills, basically One For All, coming together to help him get into a position to be able to save everybody.
He says,
Okay, go ahead. Where's your 1 point? You said you have a point.
I have 2.
Okay, go
I'm gonna
ahead.
I just wish the Sugaraki and Deku fight was just a little bit more. That was my main complaint.
Let me ask
Whatever.
you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick while you're on that point.
Uh-huh.
But you like Predator Badlands fights where it lasted 2 minutes? All right, suck my pee-pee. Thank you. Continue with your next point.
That was a movie. That wasn't an anime. Whatever. Beside the point. Out of development,
Yeah.
for each character in the show, there's technically 3 dynamics to them. They
Yeah.
have them as an individual, them either as a villain or hero, and then that relationship between the two.
Yep.
That's
Hawks is
what
the best
literally
example.
makes, well, not literally every character is an example of that.
No, I'm saying, like, out of all those dynamics, like, the most clear lines between all of them is Hawks.
Yeah.
I guess I was going to use Dobby as an example because, you have what Dobby became, and then deep down he still was who he was, and then you have the relationship between the two conflicting and then merging. Every character kind of had that moment to them. Another example being like Overhaul. Like, sure, he was the dick that he was, but at the same time,
that man was the worst. He's up there with All for One. He's horrible.
At the same time, deep down, he had his own like internal conflict, and after he realized obviously he screwed up, but somewhere deep down in him, sure he was an absolute jerk. Somewhere there was that broken heart to him. And the same could be said for a lot of characters, even characters that are heroes. Endeavor is an example. Sure, he was so blinded, but his humanity was always there locked up. And obviously when it came out, he tried to own up. Well, not just a hero, but he was still human. At the end of the day, even for All for One, when it came down to All for One, he's like, oh, I'm not like this or anything. But deep down, he really was.
Yeah, when it came to his brother.
Yeah, and then that's when he fully crumbled.
One of the biggest things about Dobby that I like is to find out that he actually was Todoroki before Shoto. That I love that part.
Yeah, because that man was a walking nuke.
Because that man literally had both of them. He just
He's the strongest Todoroki easily.
Yes,
easily. And obviously that power came at a cost, but
well, because he never got the chance to fully develop it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that I actually like his ending too. At the end of the day, he really just wanted to be accepted by his family. And you saw that at the end when he was dying, even though he took a long time to die. That was the only thing I'm like, bruh.
Well, not only that, remember he had the same motive, him and the other brother, they kind of had the same thing where they wanted their father to pay.
Yeah.
It's the same type, it's the same thing. So he had a mix of each one of if you notice, he had a mix of each one of the siblings.
Yeah, 100%.
Because even the sister was just she wanted to bring the family together. She wanted to make sure that everybody was, finally.
He wanted to bring everybody together so you could see them mess up their dad.
Exactly. He wanted everybody to just beat up the guy that ruined their lot.
That's such good storytelling, bro.
But to me it's superhero story. It's a 10 out of 10. And my bias may be holding me over that.
Story.
Yeah, even a supervillain story, it's great. It's just
really
great.
It's really a supervillain story and a superhero story just going like this.
And I love it. And one of the gripes that people may have is that not a lot of people died. But in actuality, if you think about it, because there's only 8 people that died in the whole anime
that you saw,
right? But I'm saying, even those little small 9 deaths that happen, they have such big impacts, man. It's Night Eye, where he tells you the future. He tells you that Mirio's gonna be number 1,
and he is.
And he is.
Well, as soon as he got his quirk back, bro, I was like, "Yep, number 1." Number 1.
I think one of my main gripes with the story, because I've been talking good about it, I got to talk about my gripes real quick.
Yeah.
Stars and Stripes.
Oh yeah, worst part of the anime.
Finessed.
No. That was the worst writing. That's the worst writing I ever seen in my life.
Let me tell you something. I thought
No. Stop talking. Stop talking.
Plot armor.
Stop talking. You know what the equivalent of that is? Martha. That's the equivalent of Martha. When I was like, I almost didn't want to keep watching My Hero because that's how dumb that was, bro. Die because your name is this. I don't know who I am. I'm like,
after an amazing fight, by the way.
That was a good fight, but the worst way to end it. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. It was like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And another thing, super off topic. Deku's dad, bro. Even talk about that, bro. This man isn't even dead. He's just overseas. And you're telling me this man is fighting the strongest villain ever in history of the planet? Is being broadcast worldwide.
The USA seen it.
Worldwide.
Pitbull.
And this man don't even call his mother? Yo, is my son okay?
Not even. Should have called me I made that.
Are you okay?
He still has a dad? I didn't know.
Yes!
His dad,
exactly.
his dad breathes fire. He's like a dragon.
Endeavor?
Yeah. Yeah, his mom makes bubbles and his dad breathes fire.
Mom makes bubbles?
Yeah.
I thought she just cooked.
I mean, that too, but...
An amazing quirk.
I mean, not very applicable quirk in most situations.
Yeah, so is being a
But yeah.
laundry machine.
There
That's
are
very applicable.
You know,
What do you mean? You wash your clothes all the time.
we could go on and on talking about every single one of these characters inside of this show, from Aizawa to
Oh, yeah.
Present Mike.
No, you gonna get our top 5, our rankings of the heroes.
We
bro.
will eventually
Of
do.
the characters.
I think this anime is deserving of a top 5 moments in the
think so.
anime. I think it's
think so.
deserving of a top 5 characters, which we will do. We will bring that to you. I want you to put down in the comments below, if you're a fan of My Hero, what did you think about it? And I want you to tell us, who are we from the show? You've been with us for this long. Tell us who we are from the show.
What
Do you
powers would
agree
we
with
have?
what we said?
What powers would we have? What powers
Would
would
Frank
you
be
have?
quirkless? Yes.
Probably, bro. To be honest, I'll probably be quirkless. Would I and not inherit one for all, and not inherit it.
What issues do I got? Put it in the
But-
comments down below.
Either way, make sure you click that link in the description to follow us everywhere. Make sure you always leave a like on the video. We need it. And if you want to have a longer conversation with us, make sure to join the Discord. We're waiting.
We are here. You better be there.
I'm Manny.
Frank,
Joseph.
the end of an era.
And the
Hello.
beginning of a new one.
Peace.